In today's video, we're going to talk about a fourth stressor, technostressor, called overload. And I welcome you again in this 12-part series of the 12 most common technostressors or digital stressors that you can find in the workplace. In today's video, we're going to address overload, right? So overload refers to that feeling that you are absolutely overwhelmed by the number of tasks that are allocated and assigned to you through technology, by the number of systems, the amount of passwords that you need to remember, and more importantly, all the emails that you have to answer to. In my research, I worked with a new theory called obligations, where I ask you and I ask the research question: is it the number of emails? So it's a number like 3,000 emails that I see unread in my inbox. Is that what's stressing me? Or is it the feeling that I have to follow up with all the 3,000 emails, to answer them, to read them, to prioritize them, to look for tasks that are being allocated and assigned to me through that email? So overload is a real thing. It can make us use a lot of our cognitive capacity, only to be stressed about, oh my god, I'm coming back from my vacation and I'm going to find a full inbox, and you are spending those 2 or 3 last days of your vacation ruminating and feeling anxious about the number of emails that is waiting for you when you come back to work. I actually know a lot of people who start their work day on Sunday before coming into work because they just want to clear out their inbox. They are simply frightened by the number of emails that they might be receiving. Of course, it's not only emails, it can also be chats, it can also be SMS, it can be phone calls, it can be messages on LinkedIn, messages on the intranet, all the announcement boards, all these things that you need to be updated with when you come back, and not to mention all the groups that you might be part of where people have communicated while you've been away. It can feel absolutely overwhelming, and this is something that we in research world call overload. But what can you do about it? There are so many things you can actually do about it, because this is such a common technostressor or digital stressor that covers a lot of facets. The first facet that it covers is the communication. As I mentioned in a previous video, we are so good at creating a lot of digital noise just to make ourselves visible in the digital and the digitalized work environments that we are part of. So first of all, let us work on the digital communication culture in the organization. How often should we post on the intranet? Who is posting on the intranet? What are we using our Teams channels for? What are we using Outlook for? What are we using our phone messages and our instant messaging for? Okay? It's important to discuss our CC or BCC culture. Whom do we need to have on CC on this email? And if you're an employee, I think it's important to acknowledge that the first day when we're coming back from vacation, that day will be lost, not lost, but fruitfully used up on communication related tasks, the tasks that we need to catch up with. We got so used with seeing communication, email communication, as a waste of time that a lot of us, a lot of your employees, do not see that as a legitimate part of their work. If they have a day where they spend it, just reading emails, they might go home with the feeling that I've been overwhelmed, overloaded, I am cognitively spent. At the same time, I feel I have achieved nothing. And we're going to talk about that stress a little bit later. So it's important to let your employees know that it is okay if they spend the first few days after vacation to skim through their emails just to get on track with what communication they've missed out on while they were away. I've once heard of an extreme case where an employee went to their leader and said, I feel overwhelmed. I have 13,000 emails in my inbox. I can't keep up with it. What should I do? You know what the leader done? The leader went employee's desk and said, "Show me your inbox." What do you think they did next? They deleted all of the unread emails in the belief that if those emails were left unread for such a long time, they are no longer useful. And that could also, recency could also be a criteria that you can use in helping your employees cope with the overwhelming amount of number of communication that they missed out on while they were away. Additionally, if someone really needs us, they will communicate again. And I know that this is something that can backfire. Why? Because you are setting the other person, and there's many leaders that are doing this. If my employee thinks that this task or this question is urgent enough, they're just going to reach out again. But what we are doing when we're putting the other person in that situation is to say, you have to work double as hard just to reach me because I'm so much more important than you. That's, of course, not very fruitful for your organizational culture to have that type of belief. But sometimes it is necessary to address overload by saying that, you know what, it's too much for me. Dear employees, if you have sent an email, you haven't received an answer to that email, you're gonna have to send it again. So, just to repeat myself, if you're a leader, it is okay to communicate to your employees, hey, I've had a stressful period of time. I've been overloaded with many questions and emails. I have deleted all of them, or I have just checked them as read. So please, if you haven't received an answer to your recent question, please send that to me again. But we should not abuse that, because it will just create more noise, both for us and for the person that needs an answer to our question. All right. So we went through saying that if you're a leader, it's important to communicate to your employees. It's okay that you spend the first few days after vacation just to read through your emails. It is also okay to kind of take some serious actions when you feel overloaded, such as deleting all the emails or set them to be read. But most important, it's important to work on the communication culture. And please note that overload can cost you also a lot of time and a lot of money, because when we keep on creating a culture that is very much based on over communication, we are taking and stealing time away from the core tasks that are actually producing us money. At the same time, we also have to value communication. We have to acknowledge emails are here to stay, at least for the foreseeable future, and they are a legitimate and important part of our work. So it's important to congratulate your employees also for being good at drafting emails, at writing proper emails, at taking their time to remember the attachments, at taking their time to think about whom should we set on CC and whom not. Very often we're just writing an email very fast because we want to get it out of our way. But that leads to us making a lot of errors and to us having to repeat the same action again, and thus contributing to a digital clutter. Overload refers also not only to the volume, the number of emails, but also the velocity of emails. A lot of times we just feel that we are bombarded with a constant stream of communication. If it's not an email, then it's an SMS. If it's not an SMS, then it's a phone call. If it's not a phone call, someone tags us on LinkedIn. If it's not LinkedIn, then someone is buzzing and pinging us on Teams or Zoom or whatnot, right? So it's important for us as employees, but also for you as a leader, to create a culture where it is okay for your employees to disconnect during work times from all these communication channels in order to have time to deepen themselves into their core task. We're going to talk more about this in another chapter, in another stressor called interruptions or distractions. But I thank you for today. I'm your guide to thriving in a hyper-digitalized world. I am a scientist, a research scientist on Technostress. I'm Raluca Alexandra Stana. And if you follow some of the advice that I've been giving here, chances are you'll be saving time, money, and talent. Please subscribe, send this to your friends, and see you next time.